ladies. Welcome to all of my UMBWs this evening. Today's session is going to be a short one. This is a Subbie question, and I'm going to answer it, give you some information this evening, and then we are going to really encourage you to just kind of think about this. I'm definitely interested in hearing what your thoughts are, either in the comments this evening or for the replay. So hit the like button, ladies. Please hit the like button as you are coming in, or if you're listening to the replay for me. And let's talk about this. So a couple of weeks ago, we did our live stream, and it was all about CK and what had happened and how we handle disappointment from people who are mentors or people who we're working with and things like that, based on some of the comments and the things that were said or being discussed because of what happened to CK. And again, I'm just using the initials because I don't want smoke from anybody. I'm not interested in getting into a political discussion with anybody. Um, but in the replay, one of my subbies asked, well, can you really build a multicultural network in this climate? And I said, absolutely. And then another subby said, I was wondering the same thing. So I wanted to come this evening and talk to you about why a multicultural network is needed, and more importantly, why I do believe you can honestly build a multicultural network in this climate, who, the people are going to be supportive of you without tearing down the Black community. So now I'm going to I wanted to make another note here because I had forgotten something that I had thought about earlier today, but I wanted to add to my notes here. So, first of all, hey, Demure, welcome. Hey, baby girl T. Everybody, please hit the thumbs up as you are coming in. And let's have a discussion about this Subbie question. So, I was not here last week because someone from my multicultural network invited us to vacation. And I was in Maine last week with a couple of people from my multicultural network who live there and who, invited us. And let me tell you, we were treated like queens, my mother and I. We were absolutely treated like queens. And without a multicultural network, sorry, take a step back. With a multicultural network, there are things that we'll be able to experience and things we'll be able to do. Am I here to say if you don't have the multicultural network, you'll never be able to do anything, you'll never be able to do certain things? No, that's not me. But with a multicultural network, you will get to have experiences in your career and personally. So give me a second, ladies. Let me close my door really quickly because there's a lot happening out here. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. And the spammers are calling my phone. Um, so, hey, Ice Coco, thank you. Saying great topic. Okay, thank you so much. All right. So, yes, treated like a queen last week by a white man and his wife, white wife. You know, we've known these individuals for years, for many, many years. And we had a great time. Um, so I had never been to Maine before. I wanted lobster. He like grilled lobster for us, and he cooked all of our meals. He basically was like, "Look, if you two get up here, we'll take care of everything else, right?" And they did. It was phenomenal. The reason why I mention that is because there are people within your multicultural network who Number one, not chronically online, right? Especially if you're talking to people who are over the age of 45, who for the most part are going to be your mentors, bosses, boss, etc. They're not chronically online. So sometimes when we are online consistently, we believe that everybody is online and hearing certain things and seeing certain things, and they're not. The second thing is, I do believe that there is white supremacy, but I do not believe that every white person is a white supremacist. On the other hand, I don't believe that they're going to have BLM signs saying, be one and all of that. Like, they're not going to do that either, right? However, we are again able to build those multicultural networks in this climate 1,000%. You are going to be able to build multicultural networks with younger people as well, who are just like, hey, I love everybody and I think everybody should have a chance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially if they are financially secure. I'm tell you that right now. That means that they have their own skills, their own networks, their own money. They are financially secure and they are just secure in themselves, period. So, one of the things that I've noticed is I tend to surround myself with people who are naturally secure in themselves, in their own skills, in their own financials, etc. Sometimes the issues that we have with the multicultural networks, it wouldn't matter if that person were white or Asian or Black, we would still have an issue with that person. So, I also wrote down here again, they're not going to have BLM signs. They're not going to go out for a protest. They're So I will tell you what I do. I don't let anybody talk badly about the Black community around me. I just don't do that. I don't allow that. And the people that I have in my network, um, I emit something where I'm like, no, no, you can't do that. You can't do that, right? But the other thing I will say is this. We have to be realistic as UMBWs. And the Black community does not have the infrastructure for us to climb economically without a multicultural network. Everybody, as you're coming in, again, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button as y'all are coming in for me. The Black community does not have the infrastructure to give us upward mobility. It's nice that there are all sorts of podcasters online saying what we should be doing. We should be doing this and we should be doing that, and read the data and all of that stuff. As much as y'all know, I'm a fan of Diamond Dave, I'm a fan of Erica Williams, people like that. They have done a great job of pulling networks together, but those networks overall are very small. So it is, if we are being realistic, it is impossible for us to have upward mobility, true upward mobility, without a multicultural network. So, in order for us to be able to do that, we need to focus on our skills and focus on our networks. In order to be upwardly mobile, socio-economically, meaning socially and economically, we will have to focus on skills and networks. The things that I'm always telling you to focus on. The other thing is that we have to heal ourselves from, if this is you, PTSD, post-traumatic slave disorder. It doesn't mean we forget slavery. It doesn't mean we minimize slavery. I still have a problem with what Jillian Michaels said about slavery. It doesn't mean that. But it does mean that we do need to navigate post the post-traumatic slave disorder, the PTSD. Because if we don't do that, then it will be infinitely harder for us to build that multicultural network because we're going to be looking at everybody individually like they are the enemy. And do I believe again in the system? Yes. If you've been following me over the past 3 or 4 years since I've been on this channel, I've always said there is the system. But the system is different from the individual people. The final thing I will say is this, is that probably 50, 60%, 70% of the people that we run into will be ain't-ish people. Yes, that is true, especially if you work in a large company. Or especially depending on the industry you work in, they will be ain't-ish people, right? My goal is not to find the 70% that ain't-ish. My goal is to find the 30% that are decent people and who will help me with my skills and networks and who will help me get to where I want to go, not only in my career, but also personally. So, how do we build multicultural networks in this climate? This is going to be the last thing I talk about, and then I'm going to read your comments. And I got a really cool video to show you, and it's actually a short. So, it's about Tina Turner. So, how do we build multicultural networks? Let's just talk professionally. The best and easiest way to do it is to join your local association of whatever it is that you are. If you're in IT, you want to go to whatever technical group. Sometimes there are women in tech groups, right? And there'll be multicultural women in these tech groups. Those to me have always been the best places for me to go and to network professionally. I, Cherie, am a loan officer. There's a couple of groups that I communicate with. I need to find one actually in my local area that is a multicultural network, because when I have multicultural networks, it is easier for me to monkey branch. And yes, again, we can find those multicultural networks. And then when we find those multicultural networks, there is a balancing act of us participating in the multicultural networks, meaning that we participate in the professional organizations without us being taken advantage of. And the way that I do that is I usually find one committee and I usually find one thing I'm going to do within that committee in order to give back to that professional community without it taking a whole lot of time and a whole lot of energy from me. That's me. That's Cherie. If you decide you want to take a leadership position, if you decide you want to become president of the organization one day, that's on you. And, there are some people that's their jam. That's their thing. For me, I personally focus on building my multicultural network without it taking a whole lot of time and energy away from the other things that I want to do in life. So that is, that's the conversation. That's the conversation. Ice Coco was saying, great topic. I'd read that before. Hey, Cat Bravo. Hey, fitness. This country never made our ancestors whole with the reparations promised. Okay, I agree with that. And your multicultural networks are not going to be able to assist with that. Not the individual people. Not the individual people. So Yes, I agree with that. And yet, the job that I have today, the people who put money in my pocket today, the network that I have today, they help me with my upward mobility. They help me monkey branch, but they can't help me with reparations. That is a US government thing. And they are not going to, let's be real, they're not going to be at a protest talking about reparations. They're not going to do it. And yet, if I were to look at my career in my entirety, they probably have put more than seven figures. Those individuals in my multicultural network have put more than seven figures, or put seven figures, sorry, in my bank account. So let's separate the two, is all I'm suggesting. Let's separate the two. I'm pro reparations, and yet being pro reparations is not going to help you monkey branch. It's not. It's not going to help you build those multicultural networks that are going to help you monkey branch. Yeah, fitness. So you're saying it's a large part of the reason we need multicultural networks, but I agree on focus on solutions. Yeah. So unfortunately, and I was saying this before, I don't know if you were here when I was saying this, the Black community does not have the infrastructure to help us monkey branch. The Black community, unfortunately, does not have the infrastructure. If a whole bunch of us were unemployed, for us to get jobs and get like start businesses that would actually be supported internally, we don't have the infrastructure. It's nice that other people are saying, well, Black people should do this and Black people should do that. Guess what? It's not happening. We are not the Jewish community. We are not the Vietnamese community where they can go from one nail salon to another. We do not have those installations. We don't have it. At one point, we had it with Black women being in government and one person pulling another person in and pulling another person in. Now you have government totally, like it's going to be very difficult for Black women to get into government now, right? And to pull other people in and pull other people in and pull other people in. So, unfortunately, I just don't see any other way except for us to build multicultural networks. And I do believe that we can build multicultural networks with people who will not crap all over the Black community. There are people who are like, look, I'm not going to talk about Black people, right? They're not good, but they're also not going to help Black people either. They're not going to be, like I said, with the sign saying BLM, but they're not going to talk crap about us either. And because they know you, that they're a part of your network, you're a part of their network. When you need a promotion, when you need information, when something happens and you need the hookup, when I say the hookup, I mean, y'all know me, I'm always like, make sure you know the connector in your town. Make sure you know somebody that can get you to anybody, including a defense lawyer, a civil lawyer, like all sorts of stuff that can happen, right? For the most part, those people who have access that I need are in my multicultural network. I would say 30% of the people that I know that are truly connected are Black, and 70% are other ethnicities, mostly white and white Hispanic. So we would be missing out on a lot. Hey, Adrian, good to see you. Baby girl T, sometimes you have to eat the meat and spit out the bone. Know the purpose that they play in your life. Absolutely. Hello, Princess of the Light. Hello, Mentor Shelley. Hey, Notary World, good to see you. Um, Notary World is saying, I see the president's creating barriers for Black women. However, we can't be woe is me. We can't. We can't. And the truth is, UMBWs, I don't necessarily see us as woe is me people anyway, right? I do see that we are not sometimes focused on the things that are truly going to push us forward and truly accelerate us forward. So, one thing is, some of the money making skills that we have are becoming quickly obsolete with AI. Are we going to keep up with technology and keep up with society fast enough where we're not going to be obsolete? And we're going to get a lot more into some of the economic things that are happening, because I've been watching different things from an economic point of view. And let's just say that there are going to be a lot of people left behind. And those managers, people that have, they're saying that people who are not willing or able to be reskilled are going to be left out in the cold. They're going to be fired, basically. So, and no longer economically viable. Mentor Shelley is saying, unfortunate but true. It's so important to create our own businesses, build the table. So I had this conversation, Mentor Shelley, about building the table. So, yes, but we are resilient women. Yes, we are. And we don't have the luxury to be woe is me. We have to innovate quickly. Yes, yes. So adapt or die is really where we are right now in this society. Adapt or die. And the adaptation does need to include multicultural networks. They do. Fitness is saying it's exhausting how fast the goalposts are moving, though. It can feel discouraging for sure. And this is true, but this is just a function of society today and how quickly society is moving. So I will say this. I always talk to you about having skills, networks, and financial literacy. If we're looking at which one you should focus on more, should you focus on your skills or your networks? I will always say focusing on your networks. Focusing on your networks is going to be more important for you, because if somebody knows you, they like you, they have an opening in their company, they're going to give you the time to get the skills that you need in order to really excel at that job. So, but the discouraging piece, in my opinion, is if you are trying to uh, get a job or move up in an industry and you don't know anybody. And more importantly, you don't know the right people who will actually um, refer you, refer you to those economic opportunities. So I told y'all I was going to show you Tina Turner. This is going to be the last thing we talk about, and then we're going to go, because I didn't have too much to say about this topic this evening. But let's watch this thing with regards to Tina Turner, because I thought it was fascinating.
But you had that voice too. And I had the strange voice that most girl singers didn't have. How does your voice sound to you?
Deep, and even it goes deeper. So,
do you like your voice, Tina? Do you think you have a good voice?
You know, in the beginning, I didn't. I thought it was kind of ugly because it didn't sound like Diana Ross. But then afterwards, I thought, yeah, it sounds like the guys.
I absolutely love this. I absolutely love this message. And the message is, let's be real, Diana Ross is 80. She looks fabulous. but she wasn't filling up stadiums like Tina Turner was at 70 years old, right? The reason why I wanted to play this for you is because Tina Turner built a huge following, multicultural following, and she doubted her own skills. She doubted her own skills, but there were people who saw something in her and said, okay, we're going to actually invest in you and push you out there. And then, things happened with Ike, and she was flat on her butt, and she went to Europe. And, when she died, I believe her net worth was $250 million. And she ended up marrying a man who loved her so much that he gave his kidney for her. But in the very beginning, she didn't like her voice because it didn't sound like Diana Ross. I wanted to point out that we're different. We, like Wendy Williams used to, we are different, right? And we're going to go into rooms, and sometimes we're going to feel like the ugly duckling. We're going to feel like we don't belong, etc., just like Tina did, right? Because Tina wasn't Diana Ross. We don't have to be like everybody else. We can be ourselves. And there are going to be people that we're going to go into certain rooms, and they're going to gravitate to us. They're going to gravitate to us. And we're going to have the ability again to monkey wrench. We are. So I really wanted to show that Tina Turner thing because there was just something so inspirational about her saying, I didn't like my voice. I didn't sound like Diana Ross. And sometimes people will put you in a box, and sometimes we put ourselves in a box. But we don't have to be that. We don't have to be that. So I'm going to read the rest of your comments, and then we're going to get out of here. Baby girl Tia saying in college, and this is what I do. If I see an event, I do a deep dive on who created it, the people coming, and then stalk their LinkedIn so I know who to talk to, and I always do follow-up. Congratulations. Mentor Shelley saying she built her fan base by being herself authentically. We have to find out beautiful unicorn self. We have to find our beautiful unicorn selves. Absolutely. Baby girl Tia saying her documentary is so amazing. You can learn a lot from her interviews and doc. I absolutely agree with that. I am a Tina Turner fan. I'm a Tina Turner fan based on her music and also her story. And she just seemed to have such a good spirit. So, yeah. But I wanted to, again, answer that Subbie question, talk about building multicultural networks. There's some money topics we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks that are very serious, and me kind of, just letting you ladies know what is coming up. What is coming up? How are we going to navigate? How are we going to pivot? Giving you some information to think about with regards to everything that's happening right now. And yeah, there's a lot happening. So we want to stay on top of things and know how we're going to pivot and move within our careers. And we're always looking at monkey ranching. So that is it for me. Thank you, ladies. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.